Hello everyone, it's Natasha from Treasure Books. In this video I'm going to complete my journal, my cheesecloth journal. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I did a tutorial just recently using cheesecloth to cover these books and to make these beautiful journals. And I will link that video down below if you haven't seen it. In this video we are doing everything else to finish off the journal. So I have the notes here and we're going to do everything. So I'm going to finish this journal off and embellish on camera, and then I'm going to give you a full flip through of this big one. And hopefully you will feel inspired, and let's just get into it. Alright, so the first step in making a journal is to construct the cover, and I've already done that, as you can see. I will link it down below in the description box. Okay, the next step is choosing papers and placing them into signatures. So I'll show you what I've got. Just quickly, I have got all different types of writing paper, and I like to put things in categories when I'm making a journal. So first here I've got writing paper, and it's all different types. Then I've got some book pages. These are typically pages that you can't really do much with. You can't really journal on them unless you cover them up and, you know, add things. And this one as well, this is like a little Franken collaged page. So 2 book pages, and then I have specialty papers. So these are specialty papers, meaning that you can, you know, there's some sort of a pattern to them, but you can write on them. So most of my journals have mostly writing pages. This is Braille paper. Okay, so that's it for the specialty pages. And then I'm going to use this scrapbook page, and I'm going to make a pocket for the middle of the journal. So I will come back to this last. Right, so all up, I've got 19 pages here that are folded in half. And then I'm going to be binding them into the journal. And this journal has a very narrow spine, which means I will only fit one signature in there. I think 19 pages is going to be too much for one signature. But I've got my papers out, and I can easily decide to discard some papers. I just want to show you this. So this is a box where I have pages ready to go into journals. So they can be, you know, sewn specialty pages or just clear, you know, paper with nothing on them, or some tea-dyed paper and book pages and all sorts of things. So when I'm making a journal, I can just come in and pull out. I'll take this page, I'll take this page, and this page. So that's how I pull out my pages. And then if I decide to get rid of some, I can just put them back in this box. So now that I have chosen my paper, I'm going to place it all into a signature. I'm making one signature because of the narrow spine on my journal. For this other journal that you may have seen, it's quite a bit bigger than this one, and it's got a 1-inch spine. And in this journal I'm going to put 3 signatures. 2 of the signatures will have 12 folded pages, and 1 signature will have 13 pages. So I've already prepped this. I hope to finish this as well, so I can show you at the end of the video the final flip through. So generally speaking, I will have between 7 and 15 pages per signature, and there's 19 pages here. So let's see how we go. And I'm just going to go in order that I want them to be in. So maybe I will have 2 writing pages, and then a specialty page, and then 2 different types of writing pages, maybe like this, and then another specialty page, so maybe a book page over here, and then I'll have, again, I think you get the point. I still have to add this one. So far I've left these 3 pages out. So I've got 15 pages in here, and that's perfect, I think, for this journal. And I will also be adding stuff, so you know, we'll add a little bit of bulks. And now I need to trim these pages to fit inside the cover, because we can't have them sticking out. So what I do, you may have seen from previous videos, I make myself a template. This is just from a magazine, the cover of a magazine, so it's sturdy. And I made myself a template of how large my pages can be, the largest possible. So you can see it fits inside this journal perfectly. So then I use this to help me. So there's 2 ways I can do this. I don't know if there's two ways. There could be just one way or three ways, but let's see. So I can use my template like this and go in and trim off everything, all the excess, with my X-Acto knife. But I'm thinking this here is large enough to make a little pocket on the inside of the journal. So what I will do, I might take this page out just for now and mark where I've had it. And now I'm going to trim off the excess, and I'm going to use this template as my guide so that I know where I need to cut. And here we go. I'm using my box cutter here, and I'm just going to go in and trim the excess. So that fits in there perfectly. I want to go back to this page, and I've marked over here where it was. I mean, it can go really anywhere, but I'm going to put it in here, and then I might just fold it in to make a pocket. So then I'll decide later if I want to stitch this pocket shut. And now I need to do the same for this one here. And one last thing I want to do is on the inside, on the middle of my signature, right in here, middle of my signature, I want to have a page that is a pocket that I can put things into. So this is how I make that pocket. This is the scrapbook page that I'm using. I get my template out and I kind of line it up the top so that I know how high my page has to be. I went a little bit over just in case. And then I make a pocket like this. And I need to trim this part here. Here we go, and now I'm just going to fold it in half, and that's going to be the middle of my signature here. It's going to be a pocket like this, but I need to trim it to size, so I usually put it in my signature and mark where I need to cut. So let's say there, because if I use my template, the middle page of the signature is sticking out more than this page because, you know, they're stacked inside there. The size wouldn't correspond the size that I need here. That's why I'm not using my template. So anyway, I think you know what I mean. And now I'm just going to trim that excess off. Okay, here it is. And now it can go in there like so. Just double check that everything's in order. Nothing is too big. I think that's perfect. The next thing that I do is all of the pre-binding work. So if I need to do any sewing, like for example this pocket that I just did in the middle of the signature, I want to sew it shut. I'm going to go to my sewing machine and just sew something here just to close that pocket, or I can glue it, or you know, whatever. I'm going to maybe do some stamping, maybe some inking, maybe some stenciling. And the reason why I do it before binding is because I can just take out the page and I can have a flat surface over here that I can work on in terms of stamping and stenciling. Whereas when it's in a book, if you want to place a stamp onto a page and you've got all the bulk underneath and things are moving, you might not get a good image. So all of this work I'm going to do now, and then I'll come back and show you what I've done. So I'm just inking the edges. I'm not inking every single page, but mainly pages that are white, like this one, for example, on the inside. I just want to add a little bit of ink to the edges. And also when I have pages stacked like this, which I love in a journal, when I have a small page and then a bigger page at the back, I like to ink the edges of those pages because they pop out even more. Now that I have finished inking all of my pages, I think I'm going to do stenciling next. So I have some really beautiful stencils that I like to use over and over again in my journals, like for example these butterflies, or this one here, or this doily one. I really like this one, and I have no idea where I got them from, so don't ask me. You know, some of them may have been thrifted. If you don't have stencils, you can use anything that has some holes, I guess. So like for example this here is there were flowers that, you know, paper flowers, and I actually used this leftover bit as a stencil, and this one as well. And of course you can make your own stencils, and I have a video on that. I will link that below if you want to have a look. This one's quite cool too. Another thing that I've used and really loved to use is these shower things, disposable hair traps, only I don't use it. You're supposed to put it in your shower and then, you know, it traps the hair. And this kind of comes off. And I like to use that as a stencil. So you can see I've used those. I've used this one with paint. So you can get creative when it comes to stenciling. I might start with this one and just choose where I'm going to go in with my stenciling. Maybe I can do some here because I've got two white pages. Stenciling's I don't need to pull the page out. I think it'll be okay for stenciling. And I'm just using one of these brushes or one of these. People always ask me what this is called. I don't know. A dabber, maybe. An ink dabber. But you can use like makeup sponges and stuff like that. So very gently, I'm just going to go over the top. And of course, try not to move the stencil while I'm stenciling. And I'm just going to check my design by still holding the stencil in place somewhere and lifting up. And then I can decide if I want more or, you know. I might actually pull the whole page out and do this one in the middle. All right. That one can go back in. Let's see where else I can do some. I might do some butterflies on this page. Let's see if I use this ink dabber, how that's going to look. Yep. And maybe just one more. And I might use this again. I think that looks nice. Okay, that's it for stenciling for today. I might do some stamping next and just use what I have close to me on hand. So maybe some little mushrooms and butterflies throughout. Let's see. So I want a little bit of sewing, a little bit of inking, a little bit of, you know, this and that, but not too much of the one thing. So for the stamping, I'm going to take this page out so I have a nice and flat surface. There we go. Just a little something. Might have a little butterfly on this page. And I used black and then brown ink, and I think it looks better. It kind of stands out a bit more. I think that looks really nice. And I might do one more butterfly somewhere. I'm going to do it right here at the back. So I'm just doing a little bit of black ink, a little bit of brown. Doesn't really worry me that I'm getting black on brown. All right, that's it for stamping. And now I'm going to go and do some sewing, and I'll show you what I've done with the sewing. So this page already had some sewing, and then you can see this different type of stitch here on the next page, and then nothing, and then I just did a straight stitch here, kind of giving that page a little bit of a border, and you can see the stitches kind of showing the layers. On this page I've done a wiggly sewing. I'll show you the whole page. Just went kind of wiggly around the edges, and obviously, as you can see, I didn't sew on every page. It's just to add interest. So we have stamping, stenciling, we have sewing, you know, just some interest to the journal. And then this one here, I've sewn around, creating these inner pockets, or sealing the pockets rather. And then as we flip this way, you will see the other side of the sewing. See here, and then here. And then this is the last page, and then here the sewing as well. And now I'm just thinking these little offcuts pieces from this page in the middle, I might sew this directly onto a page in the journal. Let's see. I think I'm going to add a little ruffle on this page. I'll go ahead and do that now. And here we go, just another little extra on that page. Okay, so now that all of my pre-binding work is done, I am moving on to binding this signature, or signatures, depends on how many you have. I'm binding this signature into my book. So the first thing I'm going to do is just do a quick flip and put the pages where I want them to sit. So, you know, the shorter pages, maybe move them up or down, maybe, let's see. Okay, and I'm quite happy with that. Bundle them all up, make sure nothing's sticking out. Perfect. So for the binding, the first thing I do is I make a template. I just need a scrap piece of paper that's exactly the same height as my pages. And I'm going to find the middle by folding it in half. And then I'm going to fold it over here somewhere, maybe an inch from the top. That's probably a little bit more, but it's approximate. Open it up and mark those folds. And just write myself a note that this is the top. I might do a line through those markings so that I can see better, and fold it the other way. And I'm going to use these markings to make holes in my signature and to make holes in my cover so that they correspond. This is easy because there's only one signature, so I just have to find the middle of my spine and make those markings. When you're doing 2 signatures or 3 signatures, then you have to find the even spacing between signatures. But this one, I'm just going to go in the middle of my spine and I'm going to mark where I'm going to punch the holes. I did a really faint marking because sometimes I make a mistake and I have to rub it out, but this time it's looking good. And I'm first going to punch these holes, put something underneath to protect my desk, and I'm going to use my awl or a pokey tool, and I'm simply going to go through that cover all the way. Very easy. Check here at the back and you can see those holes. Perfect. Now I've got my signature, make sure everything is aligned, find the middle. And I'm using my template. I'm going to turn it this way and put that in the middle. Make sure everything is nice and snug in there. And then go ahead and poke those holes. There we go. Take out the template. Don't want to bind that into my journal. And some people use clips to hold these pages together. I just pop this back in this hole, just to keep everything together until I get my needle and my thread. I'm using this dark brown waxed thread. Any thread will do, it doesn't have to be waxed. And I'm starting in the middle here. Grab my cover and then go through the middle in my cover. I'm going now up to this hole up here and just through the cover. I use my pliers to help me pull this needle through. There we go. And now back to my signature. So I've got this holding everything in place. I'm going to remove that and then go through the top hole over here. Might need my pliers again. Now I'm going through the bottom hole. So this is called a 3 pamphlet stitch. What I'm doing over here, you can do a 5 pamphlet stitch. And so we're through my signature, and now I'm just going through my spine over here, the last hole. And now this is actually the trickiest part, going back in. So what I do is I grab my thread and I pull it tight, and then I move it to this side, to the left, and I hold it tight in place, and then hopefully it will go through all of the layers. In most cases it doesn't. And I just have to kind of go page by page, but let's have a look. Let's see what's going to happen. I go through that hole. So I don't know if you can see, I went through the spine first. You can see my needle there. I'm wiggling it so you can see. And then I try and go through all of the holes here. And it's not working for me because I'm standing up. It's really kind of hard to do it this way. So when, you're having this sort of trouble, then I just go kind of page by page. But let me just see if I can do this without having to do page by page. Here we go, it's through. This one was really tricky for me because there's a lot of pages. So the more pages per signature, the harder this part will be. Sometimes it happens at first go, and sometimes it takes a little bit of time. So now I'm just going to pull this through. Here we go, the outside looks good. And now I just want to make sure that everything is tightened really well. We don't want any loose signatures. And now I'm just going to tie a knot over here and a little bow, because that's just what I like to do. You can have this on the outside of the cover. You can hang beads and things. If you start from the outside, then your threads will be on the outside and you can, do fun stuff with that. So I just want to make sure that everything is nice and, it's not moving around. The signature is tightly bound. And now I kind of work those pages in. And there we go. The pages are all nicely snug. Snug as a bug in there. Okay, so after binding the signatures in, it's time to embellish the journal and finish it off. That's my favorite part of this process. I have a box. I have a couple of boxes of things that I make, you know, sometimes I'll just pick up scrap pieces on my desk and just make bits and pieces, and then I throw them into this box, or find things that I think will look good in a journal, you know, things like all sorts of different things. And then I have another box also with just handmade things. So when the time comes to embellish a journal, I go into the box and I pull things out and place in journal, and then I add more things that I think go with the journal I'm working in. So I think with this one, I want to start off with creating a pocket here, so that it's just an extra little pocket in the journal. So I went ahead and I cut out another piece of this same scrapbook paper that I used here on the cover, and I'm going to glue this down here. And so I will just glue the 3 sides so that I leave the top opening as a pocket. Okay, that's glued on, and I'm going to pop this on there to embellish that pocket. There's so many things that we can add to a journal that it's not hard sort of thinking what to include. It's hard to decide what to not include, because there's just so many things. And then I'm going to pop this tag in, and I've got a little bit of this gold trim that I have here on the front of the cover, and that's going to go in here. So I'm not going to push it all the way down because this is still drying. Now on this front page, I'm going to add these 2 pieces, just some journaling card here that goes well with this butterfly and this here, and this journal belongs to. Just going to clip that in, but I think I would just want to add some type of a trim here up the top, maybe something like that. So for me, this embellishing process is not so much about, I mean, of course it's about embellishing, but for me, it's about creating extra spaces, especially when space is limited, like in this journal. Because of such a narrow spine, there's not too many signatures in there or pages. So I want to create as much writing space as possible. Next page here, I think maybe I can add a little flip-up pocket. This is purely for decorative purposes. I really love to concentrate more on, you know, as soon as you open the journal, the first thing that you see. And I think it actually looks so much better in real life than it does on camera, but I'm going to glue that on there. And I don't want to go over that stitching, so I'm just placing glue under the stitching because I want the stitching to still be visible. Alright, and oftentimes I won't work in order. I will be sort of skipping pages, but for now I'm working in order. So not every page has to be embellished. So let's see what next. Okay, this one here. I'm going to use one of these. It's a paper clip so you can move it around. And I have a tutorial on it. And it's made from book pages, clearly. It adds such beauty to a page. And it serves as a tuck spot as well. This is too big, but you get the picture. Alright, let's see what else can we do. Alright, here I'm going to clip in a little journaling spot. Some more writing space. See? Just like that. So maybe something here. I decided to put a little corner flip up, and I'm again using that lace. Okay, and I'm going to glue this down here. So it's a flip up and a pocket. So I need to apply glue just to the 2 sides. And maybe I'll pop some little tags in there. Alright, here. First I'm going to glue this quote that I ripped out of a book, like a quote book. And I'm going to glue that onto this pocket here. Next I'm going to use this envelope. And I'm just going to pop this here on the front. Just a little die cut with flower stuck on it. It's going to go in here. Next I'm going to add this tag. I've also had this tag pre-made. I just added this top here. Now in this pocket I want to put some more writing pages, a journaling card, and then a little notepad that I made. And I'm going to pop this just over the top like so. I think that looks okay. Alright, now here I want to clip something in, maybe a little paper bag. Maybe I should put something in there. Maybe I can put some postage stamps in there. So cool. I love postage stamps. And then these can be used to further embellish the journal. So just pop them in there. Okay, now on this page I decided to clip this in, and inside here I just have some little paper ruffles that can be used in different ways, embellishing the journal, putting them on tags like tops of tags, or making tabs with them, all sorts of different things. So I've just popped that in here, and then I have a little charm here on this paper clip, and I'm just going to clip it in on that page just like so. Okay, now here I want to clip some more stuff in. So I'm going to clip these in because there's a book page here and there's this image here, and then these images are taken out of magazines, and I have backed them onto some tea dyed paper and made little journaling spots or journaling cards. So I'm just going to clip this in here. And then with these book pages, because there isn't much that can be done with them, I like to add something useful to them. So I'm thinking in this one, maybe if I add a belly band, and then I don't want to sort of go across all of the writing, so I'll just add a belly band on the side, and then I tuck in maybe a journaling spot or something. So just like that, that's glued in, perfect. And then I'm going to pop this one in here, or maybe this side, perfect. All right, let's keep going. So this one's got sewing. I don't need to add more stuff to it. I don't want to overwhelm. I think this page, this is a hidden paper clip. I have a tutorial on these. So basically you put them on a page. There's a paper clip in there, but it's hidden. And then it can just be like a bookmark that you can move around, or you can, it's like a tuck spot. Here comes this one again. I'm not going to put this one in there because it's got all of this stuff that's getting caught, but that's what that is. I'm just going to leave it as it is. I will link that tutorial below if you want to have a look. Alright, so here's that braille page. I think this would look good on there as well. So, but anyway, that can be moved around. Alright, on this one, I want to clip something in here. So I'm going to do this. This is another journaling spot with all this dimension and fabric and all sorts of stuff. I think I have a tutorial on these too. I've made quite a few, so they're all different, and I'll link it down below. But that's a journaling spot, and of course all of these things I'm adding can be moved around and placed anywhere you want, or you can take them out altogether and then use them as you're using the journal. I think I might leave this page as it is, and then here I want to clip something in. And this is an envelope that can be opened up or it can be glued shut. There we go. And then maybe I just want to put something here on the last page. So I will just clip some more things that can be used. So here's the thing, okay? When I make journals, and if you've watched my channel, you know this already. The journals that I make, I like to make them to be used as a writing journal. So I clip a lot of things in, and I don't sort of overdo with embellishments. Having said that, I have to say that I love those journals that are full of embellishments, and I love those journals that practically have no place for writing. I love them too, you know, just looking at things and it's enough just for inspiration. So that's why I haven't really, I don't know, like it's still embellished, there's still beautiful things, but it's not overly. Maybe for some it is. Maybe some people think that's too much. So it all depends on the person. Now, I have already put probably a little bit too much. I mean, when I put it this way, it opens up. When I put it down this way, it's not really. I mean, it is a little bit of an alligator mouth. So what I can do is create a closure. So I'm not entirely sure how I feel about a closure on this journal, but I just want to see how it would look. I think it takes away from the journal to add this closure, so I think I will not add the closure. And I'm not going to take anything out, and the problem is I wanted to add more stuff to it. All of these little bits and pieces, a little paper bag, a mason jar, all these little journaling spots. Look at this one, little notepad. Now this would look really good on the back here. It's an expanding pocket. I also have a tutorial on these, but I simply cannot add this here because it's just too bulky. It will be too much for this journal. But I'm going to include all of these things because I'll be selling both of the journals in my Etsy. I'm going to include all of these things with this one, and probably I will include more. So I usually like to fill up the 500 gram box. This together weighs about 400 grams, so I'll be adding more goodies with this one. Let's have a quick little flip through just to see a completely finished product, and then I will also show you what I've done in this one. Okay, just quickly. Okay, so this pocket is here, and this journal belongs to another tag here, a little flip up over here, all different types of papers, stitching, stenciling. Here's that little bow, braille paper over here, more writing, stenciling here, stitching on the pages, a journaling spot here that opens up for more writing space, a writing page here with a stamp. So this is a flip up journaling, and it's also a pocket, have some tags in there. Then we've filled this up with all different things, paper bag here with some stamps. In here, those little embellishments, paper ruffles, little charm over here. Okay, belly band. So all different types of elements, magazine pages or book pages that have been made into journaling spots. Stitching, hidden paper clip here, it's a tuck spot. Maybe that would look good in there like that. That actually looks really good, and I think I'm going to leave it in there. And then more, you know, and then this one is journaling spot. And then this is that envelope that opens up. And the last page here, I've tucked more things in. All right, so that's that one. And I just want to place all of these things here so that I know to include it in the package. Okay, so I finished this one last night, and I'll show you what I've done here. So this first front pocket has 3 tags in here. So many fun and interactive things in these journals. In this journal, this one has another tag, so it's a side pocket. And then here also, and then this opens up the first page, and there's 3 tags. Edith Holden page. Here's another one of those pockets, envelopes. And I love this effect of the tea dyeing process where I did some splotches on the page. That can be a really good starting point for doodling if you like to doodle and draw. Okay, so here's a little journaling spot. I did some stamping. This journal has 148 pages altogether. And you can see as I go through that I've layered the pages. Stenciling and stitching around. I did pretty much everything that I did in the other journal. This one here is a corner bookmark. I have a tutorial on these, so it can be a tuck spot as well on both sides. But I made them to be like a bookmark, and you just move it around as you go through your book. So it's up to you. You can get creative with how you use that. Okay, so this is the middle of the first signature. There's 3 signatures in here. There's that mason jar. So when I was embellishing this book last night, I pulled out some of the things that I wanted to use in the journal that I have just done in this video. Some stamping. Here's another one of those journaling spots. Those journaling spots, I don't know what I call them, but I do have a tutorial on this. And you're just using up scraps and images and all sorts of things, and you're creating these beautiful little pieces. You hold on there, look at all these different stitching. So when you're looking at this page, maybe I'll turn the page here. This is the end of the first signature, and can you see this? I love this. All of the layers, you can pretty much see all the way up to the middle of the signature. So I really enjoy this, the layering. Little poem here, stamping, stenciling, sewing, lots of writing space, a book page there, and all this layering. Lots of interesting things to look at. Stamp, quote. Yet you know, heaps of writing space. So just here I filled it up with some quotes. Over here just some different bits and pieces. You can't see this, but it says Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday through to Sunday. And here's a big envelope, and I've just included more, you know, writing pages. So this journal actually weighs over 1/2 kilo. Journaling card in there. So what I will do is I will put it in a box and then fill up that box up to 1 kilo of, you know, some other stuff. Okay, so this is the end of the second signature. We're starting the third and last signature. Here I've got that bow. It's a paperclip bow. You can move that around and you can use it as a tuck spot, and you can make your own. Tutorial down below. Lots of stitching, stamping, all that stuff. This is a little pocket on this dictionary page. So yeah, I always like to include extra things that you can use. So you can see here, middle signature. This is what happens when you have a large journal. And then I just really like this look of layered pages. Just gives it so much more interest. And as you're journaling as well and you're going through, you know, it's interesting. I just clipped a little die cut here. Stamping, stitching, and coming towards the end. Alright, so this is the back cover. So what I did here is I included one of these expanding pockets that I have a tutorial on, and I have glued that on. So you have an expanding pocket at the back, and I've just included some things in there. And that's that journal. I wanted to show you something because somebody did ask me this question recently. As you see in this journal, I have used some large pages that fit completely with my cover, top and bottom, but most of the other pages are smaller pages that I have layered together. What you can do, and what I've done in this journal, is you can get 2 pages, let's say pages like this. Okay, this is shorter, but let's say instead of turning it to the side, folding it over, you will then have the writing going the wrong way, and also will be a smaller page. You can get 2 of these pages, you put them together, you hinge them together, which means that you overlap them, and then you glue them there, or you sew through them, or you find whatever way you can, and then that will give you, I think you know what I mean, that will give you a large page. So once that's glued, then you fold it in half, and then you bind it in the book. So you can see here, that's what I have done with this page. So you can barely see, I mean, I've done hinging before where I actually I hinge them, I overlap them quite a bit. Let's say I overlap them this much if they're larger pages, and then I zigzag sew right through the page, right? So then that adds an extra image onto the page. So you don't have to hide the hinging, but here you can see it's barely visible. You can see that I have overlapped those 2 pages. And this journal as well, I have, you know, large pages, and then I have layers going throughout. Okay, so now my cheesecloth journals are completed. They are listed in my Etsy shop. The Etsy link is down below. I hope you guys feel inspired, and I hope you got some new ideas. Everything that I've mentioned will be linked down in the description box below this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Oh, before I forget, I'm going to pop these notes up on the screen so you guys can take a screenshot. If you need, you know, something to help you just a little bit when you're making a journal, to know sort of what comes next. This is the order that I like to work in, but everyone's different, so, and that's fine too. So once again, thank you very much for being here, and I'll see you very, very soon. Bye!